Ciao jewelry making friends, my name is Joey Balestrieri. Welcome to my channel and welcome to my video series where I upcycle, redesign, or repair jewelry that is too beautiful to be thrown out but needs some attention. And today I don't even know what to say about this piece. This piece was a gift to me from one of my dear friends in Italy who I stay with when I travel there often, and it is a gorgeous piece of Italian art glass. So it definitely doesn't need to be repaired or upcycled, and it doesn't really need much of a redesign, except that I don't care for the necklace part that's on it, and I wanted to add a little bit of gold. So this was from my friend Fulvia, and the little insert that came in with the gift looked like this. It's d'acqua e vetro, bigiotteria artistica italiana, and the designers are Lorella Bai and Mauro Romasso. And so it means of water and glass, and it's like jewelry art is basically the translation. So I have this gorgeous piece. Grazie ancora, cara Fulvia, il regalo speciale che mi hai fatto è davvero bello. Che bello. Voglio aggiungere un po' della mia arte e poi indossarlo per ricordarmi di te e dell'Italia. So I just am going to send this video, text it to my friend when it's finished, and I wanted to say to her that I really love the special gift that she gave me, that it's really beautiful, and that I just want to add a little of my own art to it, and then I want to wear it more often and remember her and my time in Italy. So I am going to do what is very difficult to me and cut this away, but I'll tell you what my plan is before I do that. So I actually practiced what I'm going to do with wire with the cord that is inside this stunning piece of art glass. So there is a space here and this cord fits in there perfectly. So what I'm planning to do is cut this and take it away, and I'm going to slip in a length of anti-tarnish 22 gauge wire from Softflex Company. I love their wire. And so I practiced with this so that I know exactly the path of my wire when I get it going. So I'll put my wire through the piece of art glass just as this is done. And then I'm going to bring one wire around to the back and bend it straight up like that. And then the wire that's here, I'm going to wrap around 2 or 3 times. I'll see what looks good on the face of the pendant and bring it around and then wrap it around the wire that's directed straight up. And then from there I can make a bail. And when I was in Italy last time, I went with Fulvia's daughter, Gaia, to Venezia, and we went to Murano and we bought beads everywhere. And I went into 2 shops in particular that I loved. And ironically, one of the shops was actually named Fulvia, the same name as my friend. So I spent 165 euro the first time, and then we went back the next day, and I don't remember what I spent the second time. But this shop was closing its doors forever because the owners retired, and everything was 70% off, and I got some amazing things. So I have a whole dish, and I even have a video on that trip. I can link it below if you have not seen it. Nothing like bead shopping in Italy. It's amazing. We took a water taxi over to the island of Murano. We went to the several glass factories, the glass museum, and I bought beads. And this is one little grouping of the art beads that I brought back from Italy, and they are kind of amazing with this pendant. In particular, I'm loving the idea of adding some gold Italian lampwork. Look how gorgeous gold looks with this dark slate color, and there are several blues in this pendant. I don't know if the camera is showing you, but this glass here has a sparkle almost like you found a gemstone underwater. And then this is a different glass, and then this is a different glass. I mean, this is just an absolutely stunning piece. I love it so much, I don't have words. But I am going to make it a bit brighter by adding in some gold. And then I need to come up with a necklace part. So I've been through all my beads, and honestly it felt like nothing seems special enough, but I have these check glass fire polished rounds, and I thought that the dark kind of moody blue in this bead looked great with the dark slate, and it just seemed like, to me, that made me happy. And I'm planning to make the necklace on my beloved Brazilian waxed cord in this turquoisey watercolor, and I think it's going to be really beautiful. So I have some other beads here from let me keep my little beads together. I have some other beads here from Italy, and I pulled out all kinds of, I shopped a lot for beads when I was there, and I did not bring any luggage. I just had my personal item bag and my carry-on bag, so I had to be careful what I brought back. But I brought back things like this, a lot of lamp work bead, a lot of the Murano glass from Venice and Italy. And then the shop that was going out of business had stretch bracelets with these fabulous beads, and that's what this is. I've cut it apart, and this one I haven't been able to bring myself to cut it apart. I probably won't wear it like this. It's a little bit big for me, for one thing, and I really bought it for the beads. It was €35, which is maybe, like at the exchange rate then, maybe 39 American dollars, and 70% off of that. So when I cut this open to do a project, it will be something really special. I mean, every single bead is absolutely gorgeous, and this was a blue version, which I have already cut apart. But on this piece, as I said, I'm going off of this Italian bead in the gold lamp work, and I pulled in some 8/0 seed beads that just match perfectly, because I don't want my necklace part to compete with this pendant. It's too gorgeous. So I didn't want to get too busy with, you know, whatever my pendant is going to hang on. So far, this, and it's subject to change. My designs are subject to change when I start working, but so far that's what I'm working with, and then the Brazilian waxed cord and this gold wire. So let's start. I am going to take my scissors, and it seems like this is glued. I'm going to take my scissors and say goodbye to this cord. It's a little bit warm where I live to wear something like this around my neck. So I am just going to remove that. That is so gorgeous. I love that. And now I am going to be very generous with my wire, because I want to make sure that I have plenty to work with so that I don't put any stress on my pendant when I'm wrapping. Okay, this is take 2. I was not at all happy with the security, or even really the look of my first attempt at wire wrapping. This is such an unusual piece of glass, but in doing that, I think I came up with something that might work. And I did this off camera because the wire, I started to film it and the wire was constantly hitting the camera, because I just put a normal wire wrapped loop smack in the middle of this like 18 inches of wire, and I made it a little bit larger loop. And because what I'm seeing is the glass, it goes together right here, so there's almost this much space, and the loop would sink down behind the pendant. So I decided to make my loop first, and I'm going to bend these out like that. I know it's the weirdest loop anybody's ever seen, but I think that if I do it this way first and then come around to the front of my pendant with my wire and then go inside. Let me hold on to everything. And the wire is, I gave myself a lot of wrapping wire, so it will hit the camera, but I'm going to do my best to show you what I'm trying to do here. You know, even if I had like 10 of these pendants, I don't think that they would come out looking alike because it's art glass. And let's see, I'm gonna go back around. I'm gonna hold it nice and tight, and then I want this side to, I'm gonna warm it and kind of direct it inside the opening of the glass. And then as soon as I'm happy with my wraps on the front side here, I'm gonna attempt again to secure it in the back. I want at least 3 wraps on the front. Oh, that's pretty. I like the little angle that I have this time. Oh, that's really pretty. Okay, I'm much happier this time than I was before, and I think I can actually go through the opening on the pendant one more time, pull it really tight, and do the same thing with this one, and then I'll see if I feel that my bail is more secure, because my first attempt, it didn't feel secure at all. And I just have to bring everything around to the back. Well, I love the front. I think I can pull this up. And now I'm just going to try to find a natural path to the wire and get as neat. I don't want the back of this to look like a mess. It's okay for it to be artistic and organic and like free form wire, but I don't want it to be like a wadded up wire mess. So I'm going to do my best to make a couple of wraps on the back and not lose my pretty angle of wire that I have on the front. And I need to secure this one as well. Let's see where I want to. So that's kind of, even when I'm wrapping like seashells or fragments that I've found on the beach, I do kind of look for the natural path of the wire. I love the way the front of that is looking, and I love the little addition of gold. I need to find a place for this one. Let me see how it. Okay, I'm just going to try to get at least one more wrap. I'm happy with it, but I want it to be really secure. And if I pull this one up into the bundle on the back, so I think that's what I'm going to try to do, is encase this bottom wire from the back. It will make my front a little bit more secure. So I'm just going to go slowly. It's amazing that I started with such a huge long piece of wire, and this little wrapping project really took a lot of wire. Oh, that's wonderful. So this is much tighter, and I do need to make this a little bit neater. For me, I don't mind things being a little messy and a little organic, but I don't want the back of my piece to be a mess. So I'm going to try to get one more wrap with this. get under there and trim that away. And my bail is up here, and I'm thinking that I'm going to put a decorative jump ring through that loop. And the other thing I was thinking is if I want to keep these soft and smooth, or if I want to take my plier and put like a lightning bolt bend in it. Once you do that, you can't undo it, and I'm pretty happy with the wrap and like the security of it. So much better than my first attempt. Let me start my stringing and I'll think about if I want to do that, but it's nice and secure. So what I'm planning to do, I have a ridiculously long length of this turquoise watercolored, this is a craft store item. It's not my normal Brazilian waxed cord, and it doesn't have a color on the package. It was like a little variety pack. So I was thinking that I was going to double this, but now I don't know if I am. So let's see. I think for sure I could run this right through my bail, but I think I do want to use a really pretty jump ring. Okay, this is take 3. I have completely changed directions. I think I'm having trouble because this is just too special to me, but I just was not happy with the waxed cord, and I started my knotting process and I wasn't happy with doing this pendant with seed beads, and I really wanted to use some of my Murano glass beads from Italy. And I started thinking Italians are famous for their leather bags and shoes and leather jackets, and how very Italian it would be to have this on leather. So in my stash, I have this 1mm number 24 turquoise, and I do not know where I got this. I order from Leather Cord USA on Etsy a lot, and there's another shop too, and it's not marked. So I'm sorry for those of you that want to know my supplier. And I've been looking at it, and what I think I'm going to do, let me lay it down and show you. I think I'm going to draw this together and do a nice chunky knot right here at my bail. And since the art glass is offset and it has this larger cube at the top, I think I'm going to put my Italian beads on this side only. So my stringing will be asymmetrical, and I'm just going to have these Italian beads on this side with knots and the leather showing in between. I did debate about adding in some gold metal beads, but I really don't want to take away from the pendant. And I've also pulled from my stash this really cool, chic, contemporary little magnetic kind of barrel clasp, some leather cord ends, and I made 2 little jump rings to attach it. I think that on this case, keeping my stringing material as simple as possible is going to be the most beautiful for this pendant. So I'm going to take my leather and do the same thing I was trying to do with the Brazilian waxed cord, and just do an overhand knot, and I'm just going to work that down to my loop and just go slowly and make sure before I commit to tightening the knot that I'm happy with the knot, you know, because everyone can turn out differently, and it's leather, so it doesn't jump into place as easily as the waxed cord. And I also want to separate my strands and have the front lay really nicely, so just pull. And when I do a leather necklace, I will take some GS Hypo cement. I always add that to my knots. Okay, I am so much happier with that. And now I'm going to come on this side, and right about here, I'm going to do another knot. Pull it nice and tight and thread on this gorgeous Murano glass cube bead. and then do another knot right above that so that the knots act as little stoppers. Keep that bead right where I want it. And then my gold bead is going to come next. I use my pliers sometimes. With 1 millimeter leather, you do have to, you want your knots to be snug, but you do have to be careful how hard you pull, because if you're really strong, you can actually break 1 millimeter leather. And I'm going to just guesstimate about an inch, maybe even a little less than an inch. I want this to lay on the front of me so I can see these beautiful Italian glass beads. And this one is like a little bit misshapen, but I actually love that. I think it looks great with the pendant. And I'm going to do another little, same thing, little knot there. I struggled making decisions on this piece because I love it so much, and I love my friend Fulvia so much, and it's very special to me. And it's one of those, I was like blocked, thinking I don't want to do anything to ruin it or damage, because it was already so beautiful. But I think I got it after a few tries with the wire, and but when you're redoing something, it is kind of that way, a little bit of trial and error. Nobody has a rule book on jewelry art. If anybody knows where the rule book for jewelry art is, I would like to have a copy. Okay, that is so pretty. Let me just pull out of the camera very quickly and just hold it against myself. Oh yes, I am so happy with this. Okay, and so what I was doing is seeing where I want to cut my leather for the length, and I want it to be right about here. So I'm just going to snip, and I will add my ends with, hold on, let me make sure I cut them nice and straight. I did not. I have to remove just a tiny bit from this side. Felt like they were off a little bit. And so what I'll do is use my Loctite Gel Control Super Glue to glue these little cord ends on. And I love this glue because it has these little buttons on the side, and you can just get a bead flowing and just put it right inside the cord ends. And just gently push my leather inside. I'm just going to set that there to dry, and I'm going to do the same thing on this side. Okay, as soon as those are dry, this gel Loctite doesn't dry immediately, but I am just going to open my jump rings. There's no left or right on this closure because it's a little barrel magnet, and I'm just going to add, I'm going to be really careful not to pull on these at all, but I'll go ahead and add this little closure. Make sure my jump ring is closed really well. And same thing on this side. Okay, I don't feel like my glue is dry enough to do any more with this. I will just pull my little magnet apart so that I can show you this little redesign. I'm so much happier with it that I kept my beading and my cording more simple. Now my leather has been rolled up in a package, so, and this pendant has a little bit of weight to it, so when the end caps dry, I will hang this, and this leather will straighten out really nicely. And I'm just so happy with this, and I love this gift. It's so special, and it reminds me of Italy. And I will do another thing which many of you have seen me do. I will take my Permalac anti-tarnish coating and brush my magnetic clasp and my end caps. My little jump rings I made with anti-tarnish wire, and this has got an anti-tarnish coating on it, so that does not need it, but this does. And I will also take a little tiny dot of GS Hypo Cement and add it to this knot. And I don't know if I don't normally do it into the knots in between my beads. Gravity's going to be my friend, as I said. As this hangs out, this is going to straighten really nicely. But I am so happy with this, and I will put some pictures up when these things are done and it's dry. I still have all of these gorgeous Italian beads. This one is a cube bead that is strung from corner to corner, but again, I didn't want to do anything in my necklace part that would compete with this gorgeous piece of art glass. So these will go back into my little Italian bead box. I have them all separated out, and I really hope that you got some inspiration, some idea, or were at least entertained by this. And I will post some pictures at the end of the video, and I thank you for watching. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, it's a lovely way to support my work, and tap the bell notification so you don't miss my upcoming videos. There are playlists on the top of my channel if you are interested in a certain thing, like making beads or silk ribbon embroidery or bargain bead box projects or bracelet projects, or I can't think of all my playlists, but it's very organized and there are lots of ideas. I've been making jewelry for most of my life, which I won't have you do the math, but a long time. So there's a lot of ideas there, and I'm just so glad you're here on my channel. I hope everyone's having a great summer and you're safe and well and having fun on your beading mats, and I will see you in the next video. Ciao, jewelry making friends.